Hi, my name is Mustafa Serhatoslu, and I'm going to do this presentation in English, hoping that I'll get some extra points maybe. So the assignment was to find the number of geographic regions in a given area, any kind of map. This was the specifications for the code, and what I've done is to demonstrate every time I create a random map and I count the areas inside that random map. This random map has different borders each time, like this, and it outputs the number of areas, outputs the frame width and size, and width and height, meaning these areas. So to start off with main, we create a map instance, a new map object and a pointer to that object. And then we create a zone counter object and a pointer to that object. And then we create a random map. We initialize the map. We give the map to the zone to be more specific. And then once we've done that, we can print out the values and print out the map. The way I create a random map is by using the standard C++ libraries, nothing external. I used random width, random height, and a random amount of borders. We can change these numbers and the code will still work. For example, if we do numbers between 5 and 450 and 80 borders, and if we run the code, it will still work. It doesn't mess up. So let's check that. So it's a little large for the output area, but this is what it looks like, and it outputs 39 areas, and this is the size. So if we go back, yeah, in this create random map function, we first set the size of the map we initialized, and then we draw random lines inside the initialized area. It's a brute force way, so it keeps finding random numbers until it gets to a border point, and then it draws a line from a border point to another border point, and creating areas in this way. And then yep, these couple of lines are for figuring out the border style that we're going to draw, such as if it's going to be going in the right, going right or going left, going up or down, and then if it's going to be a diagonal line or not, if it's tilted or not, basically. And then to draw these lines, we use the set border function of the map, and as a limit we give the hypotenuse of the map, because this is the longest possible border inside the map that we can have. But as soon as it gets to another border point while it's setting borders, it stops. And that's how we create random maps. If we take a look at the map class, what we have is we set the size of the map here, and yep, and the map basically consists of this vector. If we go to the header, it's a vector of vectors, so it's a vector of columns basically. And we have the get size function. If it's not 0, it outputs the size. And well, one more thing, we initialize each value in the map as false, and this vector holds Boolean values, so we can see if it's a border point or not. If it's false, it's not a border point. If it's true, it is a border point, and we initialize each value as false. And we have the set border function, as we have seen just a couple of minutes ago. We have the clear border function, but I haven't used this one. IsBorder function is used to draw from a border to another border point, and yeah, this checks if it's within the bounds and returns the value stored in the map, which will be true if it's a border and false otherwise, as seen here. And we have the show function of the map, which basically draws the map using these stars. This draws the top border of the map. If we take a look at one of the examples, this area is the top area, this is the bottom area, and the frame consists of these areas basically. So this draws the top area, this is the bottom area, the bottom border, sorry, and before getting into each row, it prints the border on the left side of the map, and whenever it's done looking into each value in the map and printing a star if it's true, whenever it's done doing that, whenever it's done iterating through all the values, when it's at the end of the line, it prints another star and goes to the next line over here again, back on top. And we have the zone counter as well, as we've seen here, the zone counter class. And this is for counting the zone in the map, the zones in the map, such as, if we run one more time, there's 1, 2, 3. It does that. The init function is just for providing the map to the class, and solve function figures out how many different enclosed areas there are in the map, and it returns an integer value of the count here. The way this works is we have the count, we have the get size function of the map to figure out the size of the map we're going to iterate through, and then we create a one-dimensional array here to iterate through all the values in the map. It has the size of the map, and as we've done before, we initialize each value in this array as false before we go through all of them. And this function here, well, this loop here, it goes through all the values in the map by iterating through all the x values and the y values. And if it is not visited yet, and if it's not a border point, and then we're going to look if it's an enclosed area, if it's an area that we haven't been through yet. And the way that works is it uses a depth first search algorithm. It's called search, and what search does is it looks into the point we're currently at, and it labels it as visited whenever we iterate through that point. And then what it does is, since it's depth first, it looks into all the points that's next to that point. So up, down, right, left, and then it keeps doing that until it hits a border point. And that's why it's a depth first algorithm. And that's the way that works. At the end, we have our interfaces required by the assignment. We use the interfaces to create classes and the zone counter interface as well, and the zone counter class. Once we have all these classes initialized, we create a random map. We feed the map into the zone counter class, and then we print out the values and show the map. So let's do a couple of demonstrations. 1, 2, 3, 3 areas, random size. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I probably should have printed out the numbers inside the areas, such as 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, but next time. 6 areas, 8 areas, 3 areas. It will just keep outputting random maps with random amount of areas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, that's it. So thank you for listening, and